Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Talking Tactics, your EPL SuperCoach podcast. I am your host, SC Whisperer, joined again by SC Deadly, mate. Absolutely in peak preseason. Today, we're going to be talking about the big boys at the back, the defenders. Going to be running over the top 10 most owned, break down the best cheapie options, the best middies, the best premiums, the people we like, the people we don't like. Defense is a position. People are struggling with it, mate. How have you been?
It's a position. It's definitely a position. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Here to talk through it all, and I'm pretty keen to rip and tear into it. Defense, a lot of value in it, and I think we'll be able to find that pretty soon.
Yeah, definitely. Some good reception to the goalkeepers episode. We got way more views than I thought we were going to get. Supercoach came out this week and said that there was like 20,000 sign-ups in the first 2 days, which is absolutely unbelievable. Here for some round ball sports, and glad that people are getting behind it, mate. But yeah, we're going to be talking about around the league. We can go around, talk about transfers, preseason results, who's injured, who's trending up, who's trending down. The people's picks, once again, discussing the top 10 most owned players, giving our thoughts on those briefly, giving top two cheapies that we both like, a couple of honorable mentions, two that we don't like, same for the middies, and same for the primos, and then we'll wrap up. Content's going to come thick and fast. We've still got two positions to go after this, and we've only got about 11 days until the season kicks off, so we're going to get right into it, mate. Let's head to around the league.
Lovely. Yeah, around the league. Been a bit going on since last time we jumped on a pod, which was a little over a week ago now. One of the key ones is probably Victor Gyökeres leaving Sporting to go to Arsenal for about 75 million, and introduced into Supercoach EPL at 7.5 million as well. So, does he sort of appeal any interest with you, especially if he potentially steals some pens off of Bukayo Saka? Or
Yeah, look, Gyökeres, he's a divisive one because ripped and teared up at the championship, got the move over to Portugal, and the numbers he's put up are like worldly, absolutely worldly. But I guess my concern is like, what do they look like in a Premier League setting? Coming into Arsenal, I mean, they've been crying out for number 9 for the better part of, goodness, I don't know, since Arshavin, probably like 20 years. So they tried it with Aubameyang, tried it with Lacazette, tried it with Havertz, who's done like an okay job. But no, it's good that they've got. It's good that they've got a recognised 9 there, and yeah, like Gyökeres is an absolute gun from the spot, which does raise some concerns over Bukayo Saka and his longevity as a premium in Supercoach. And we'll talk on him probably midway through the week when we discuss midfielders, mate. But yeah, I mean, the numbers don't lie, but I'm concerned about the people he's putting numbers up against. Even mid-table, the Prem is pretty difficult. So 7.5, he would have to be nailed on depends for me. And starting game week 1, I think he played 12 minutes in his debut game in preseason. So
yeah,
it didn't look great. So probably a no from me for now, but I can definitely see the appeal.
Yeah, it's definitely big. Arsenal have a game against Villarreal tomorrow at the Emirates, so we'll see if he gets a bit more into it. Sort of sticking with Arsenal, we'll just go team by team with some of the big stories here. Eberechi Eze, probably basically gone straight to Arsenal. Bukayo Saka put out a little post on his Instagram story yesterday. I don't know if you saw, with a little picture of Eberechi Eze in the corner. So potential rumored move, which for Eze, who's a guy we're both high on, but only really if he stays at Palace, who we'll touch on in a second. It's kind of good for Arsenal, but kind of sucks for our Supercoach EPL.
Yeah, he's a guy that I definitely would want. I'd probably run a 4 perimeter midfield with Eze if he was at Palace, but if he does go to Arsenal, he wouldn't be on pens. His minutes would be significantly worse. And yeah, it'd just be a no for me, unfortunately, but it'd be an absolute unreal signing for them if they got it done.
That's it. And for the preseason games for Arsenal, Kai Havertz, probably the star player with a goal and 2 assists from the 4 games. A few of the injured players like Gabriel Mangalese, Ricardo Calafiori, Jurriën Timber, and even Trossard and Bukayo Saka, who went down in the Spurs game, all expected to be back for game week 1 by the sounds of it. So that is good. As we look at Bournemouth, who only really one transfer, but I think it's a pretty big one and going to be a pretty underrated one, is Ilya Zabani, the centre-back, off to PSG probably almost in the next couple of days, which if you look at Bournemouth's just matches from last season in the defence, he was the most nailed on guy, had 36 matches. Next after him played 25. So that's a big key part of their defence that will leave. And it worries me for not only just any Bournemouth player that you're going to pick, but also like a Dorde Petrovic, if you're looking in that area, losing a critical part of the defence.
Yeah, I mean, Zabani was unreal for Bournemouth last year. You can see there, like they put up really good defensive numbers for a team of Bournemouth caliber. We're looking at 9 clean sheets, 12 expected clean sheets as well. So it ran a little bit below, but they were up there. They were, definitely top half the table in terms of expected clean sheets, non-penalty XG, 45.5, XG was 48. So yeah, really, really good defensive team last year, Bournemouth. And if they do lose Zabani, I think it's a really, really huge signing for them to lose, which would probably put me off them. They do have an unreal start to the season. I think if we look at their sort of first 6 weeks or so, like Liverpool is not great, but West Ham, Tottenham, Brighton, Newcastle, Leeds, Fulham, Palace, Forest. Like it's a pretty good 9-week stretch for Bournemouth. So the assets are there, but Zabani going to PSG would be massive, and it would really, really put me off a lot of those Bournemouth assets.
Yeah, 100%. Looking back to Aston Villa as well, they've had a pretty decent preseason to start. Potentially 3 guys who are, the main guys from there. Ollie Watkins has 3 goals early. Daniel Malin, who has started out the preseason real handy, got a goal and 3 assists. Morgan Rogers also scored in a couple games as well. He's looked good. And your boy, Ian Matson, potential injury cloud around him. Came on at halftime, but he was substituted again in the 80th minute. So one to watch for there. Ollie Watkins, he's a star, and I'm definitely interested. He will be on pens for Villa this year. So good to see he's doing well in the preseason.
The Pens one's an interesting one because they need someone to take them, and they had Yuri Tillemans take one last year, miss it with, I believe, Watkins on the field as well, which was pretty key. Missed it, and I think Watkins took 2 after that and slotted them both the rest of the season. So I would imagine Ollie Watkins would be first choice on Pens, and nice little price for him to be if you're wanting a pen taking forward. And they've got a pretty good opening set of fixtures for Villa, and now with obviously no John Duran, like he's nailed on every week. There's no doubt about that with Watkins.
Yeah. For Brentford, who after really losing one of their key players in Brian and Mbeumo, sort of haven't really done anything since we last spoke. Johan Visser has not played any games and basically hasn't trained with the team. He's looking to be on the way out, probably off to Newcastle. Igor Thiago's the big winner up there. He's played in both their preseason games up front, scored a goal. So he's the one to look at for Brentford. For Brighton, who've done a fair bit early in this preseason, Danny Welbeck's got 4 goals, Yashin Ayeri 2 goals and 2 assists. Matt O'Reilly, who's a potential penalty taker over Welbeck, a goal and 2 assists as well. So they've had some games, and a few guys look all right. Jeremy Minter as well scored twice against Southampton the other day. So, but they've played about 6 preseason games already. Brighton's they're the main team that's been through it. Burnley haven't really done much. Marcus Edwards has 3 goals for them. Besides that, they signed Armando Broja from Chelsea, who what's he priced at? Could potentially.
He wasn't in the game last time I looked. He's still not. I don't know why, because he was contracted to Chelsea. Unless he's not under Broja, unless it's a different name. I've been searching for him every day and cannot find him. So
he's not. He's not in the game.
No,
yet.
Which is crazy because he was like on Chelsea's books last year. So insane. But no, Edwards. I mean, if he gets a decent run of games, he's 4.2 million. So good little cheap enabler. And when we talk on forwards, there's so many cheap forwards as well, like forwards and defenders. There's so many cheapies, so we'll touch on them.
Chelsea, no real surprise. They haven't played any preseason games since winning the Club World Cup. Cole Palmer, obviously the big performer of the Club World Cup for them, but they have been pretty active in the transfer market. Jarrell Hato, a confirmed move from Ajax, with Javi Simmons and Alejandro Garnacho pretty close to signing deals with Chelsea as well. and João Felix left Chelsea to go to Al Nassr in the Saudi Arabian League. But Javi Simmons and Garnacho to bolster that Chelsea attack, I'm tempted to see. I'm intrigued to see how that would go.
Yeah, they've just got a carousel of talent, Chelsea. So it's tough. Like even someone like João Pedro, like people looking at him, but like he's a big minutes risk with Liam Delap on the bench, and like Palmer's the only one in that Chelsea team that I think is nailed 38 games of the season and 90 minutes every week. So it's going to be really interesting how they navigate domestic, European, and obviously the Prem as well. So there's many competitions on the foot, and I think Chelsea will be competing for pretty much every competition that they're in.
Yep, 100%. Crystal Palace, they've been one of the talking points all pre-season, really, with a few guys, Eberechi Eze being one of the top performers with 2 goals and an assist. John Philippe Mateta, who had a fantastic game the other day, 4 goals and an assist for him. Oh, boy, they're making it real hard to ignore him. Eze, as we touched on before, if he doesn't leave, he's straight into my side, I reckon.
Yeah, me too, I think, but he would need to be there. He's currently in my FPL team, not that means a lot. Yeah. But with Palace, like the thing I think I like about them is they're playing their first 11 pretty much every preseason game, so they're so settled coming into the season. I think people are put off by that Chelsea fixture in game week 1, but outside of that, they have a really, really nice run. Sarr, Mateta, Lacroix, Richards, Munoz. Like there's so many guys in that Palace team that are viable options, and if they continue to play the football they played last year, they'll be mid-table again and putting up good points. Like Daniel Munoz was the top scoring defender last year, and I don't really see that changing this season. Nothing has really moved around that Palace side for him to take a downward turn. So, an attacking fullback like Munoz in that Palace system, I still think is going to thrive. As will Eze, as will Sarr, as will Mateta. It's just a key on whether Eberechi Eze stays.
Yeah. For my team, Everton, not too much really to touch on for them. I haven't really played the full strength side in most of the games that we've played.
Charlie bagged the goal this morning.
He did. Look, I ignoring that United game, but Charlie Alcaraz, one guy you're pretty high on, has been decent in the time that he's played in the preseason. Adam Asnou comes over from Bayern as well as a bit of a depth piece in defence, but besides that, not too much going on. James Tarkowski made his return from injury against West Ham. So anyone interested in a bit of a defensive contributor, he's back and healthy. But yeah, that's really about it for Everton. For Fulham, they signed Reece Nelson from Arsenal. That's about it. Harry Wilson's had a fantastic preseason. He's got 5 goals and an assist. Emil Smith-Rowe, 3 goals and an assist as well. So those are 2 guys that are performing for them. But Fulham are sort of and you look at it, their team's just odd. And there's no relevancy really in the whole team. No. It's just
it's just a bunch of names that seem to perform well. Big Adama Traore guy.
big Timothy Castagne guy.
Yes.
Some names. That's it. For Leeds, their star man's been Joel Pirro, who 4.5 million potential penalty taker, maybe.
I don't know what to do with, I don't know what to do with Pirro because like Leeds fans keep saying that like they're gonna sign a 9, but Pirro keeps scoring goals. I'm like, are they? But yeah, 4.5. He's probably the most likely nailed forward cheapie. It will be Igor Thiago if Whistle leaves, but yeah, Pirro at 4-point-something million taking pens would be definitely ideal. Leeds have a couple of good cheap attacking options. Dan James, I think. Harrison, Ethan Ampadu, they're all like sub 5 million. So Leeds could be a place to look at. And they were actually probably a better side than Burnley last year. When you look at the data, I think they had better non-penalty expected goals, better like expected goals against, and Burnley just overperformed. So yeah, I think Leeds could do some bits in the Prem this season.
Any interest in Pascal Struck, who probably the pen taker, big centre back?
Mate, if he's on pens, they're going to have 12 points a goal. So you've got to look at him.
He took all the pens in the championship last season. So
yeah, crazy. Imagine.
Maybe.
Honestly, if he's on pens at 4.9, I don't hate. I'd probably prefer him over like a Goodmanson at like 4.5 if he's on pens, but that will be led to be that'll be seen to be believed.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. One of the main clubs again, Liverpool. had a few guys being the star men, and they've been very active in the transfer pool. Luis Diaz off to Bayern for 75 million, and Darwin Núñez, who's been pretty good in the preseason, but he looks like he's off to Al Hilal. And coming to the club potentially after all the signings that they've made with Wirtz and Ekatike, Alexander Isak, mate. That it's a worry for the league, to be honest, with how many players they're grabbing.
No, if he goes to Liverpool, it's over.
Yeah.
It's generally over. But from like right now, like I can't touch him at 11.6. I think that's his price at what he's at. And if his eyes are out the door, then I probably don't want to have a bar of him. I don't want to have a bar of him for 11.6 if he's at Liverpool either. So, yeah, like I'm happy to pay that money for Haaland on pens, but I'm probably not going to pay it for Isak where we don't know if he's on pens. And I would imagine that Salah keeps them. So, yeah, probably just an avoid for me.
Yeah. And probably the man of the match for a couple of his probably his only 2 preseason games actually. Florian Wirtz, he's been phenomenal. Has man of the match in both the 2 games. So, does he pique your interest, or does the forward eligibility only scare you off a little bit?
Yeah, I think the forward tag, like I cannot begrudge you for going for him. He's the best 10 in the world, and I think he'll adapt fine to the Prem. But the really, really horny thing was he was on corners both sides, which was really, really scary to not have him in my team. 8 million forward only is the only kicker. If he was 8 million, if he was 10 million at midfield, I'd still pay that. But I think that forward tag, and for people that aren't aware, forwards register the same amount of points as assists, so there's no benefit there. They score 2 less points per goal and don't pick up clean sheet points. So if you have a midfielder that scores and keeps a clean sheet in a 1-0 win, they're getting 4 points more than a forward that does the same thing. So the fact that and this is like, I think we were talking to a couple of people on Twitter about this, mate. Like, if you're scoring less points because you're playing as a forward in SuperCoach, but playing further back in real life, obviously your goal threat's going to be a little bit lower. And you're not going to get the clean sheet points. You're going to get less points for a goal. That's my only concern. And there's no benefit to being a forward. Like, there's no uptick in scoring. You don't get more points for dribbles. You don't get more points for tackles. Like, there's no benefit to being a forward. The only benefit is in real life, you're expected to score more goals. So, yeah. And the fact that you get that pin. So I think for me, it's a no in terms of a SuperCoach format with him at forward only. But I cannot begrudge you to take the best 10 in the world, the best team in the world on set pieces, on pen, not on pens, on corners. So, yeah, can't begrudge it.
Yeah, that's it. Moving on to probably, would you say Man United's the most talked about team this preseason? I think it'd probably have to be, right?
Every season, I think it's every season, isn't it? Like they've been so up and down. Like Rasmus Højlund, he wants to stay and fight out his thing. I think Joshua Zirkzee is dead. Like I think whatever remnants of him was there is gone. What happens with the front 3? Like does Amarim play and Mbeumo, Cunha and Fernandes? Does Fernandes partner a Kobe Mainu because Manuel Ugarte has not been good? Casemiro is all but retired. The back 3 is also a talking point. The only probably set places are the wingmans. So yeah,
they're completely nailed on, to be honest.
No, I think Ahmed's got 1, but then it's what happens.
Yeah, Amad Diallo, right wing back, locked in. That's about it for me and you. That's about all I can give you. But Benjamin Sesko, another one that's rumored to go there. He basically just has a decision whether he wants to go to Newcastle or me and you at the minute. As we said before, Mbeumo, Cunha didn't really get to feature. They believe they had spent some time against Everton today. Bit of a weird way Man U are using Bruno Fernandes as well, as you said. He's sort of been starting out in the 6 and moving to the 10 and all these sorts of things. He played predominantly 10 today, scored another pen, Death Taxes and Bruno pens. But he's still been great in the preseason. And definitely one that's piquing my interest. I just would love for them to lock down a position for him.
I don't care where he plays. Like, if he plays in a 2 alongside Kobe Mainu, like, he's not going to sit and be like a 6. He's going to be like a box-to-box 8. So he's still going to get up. He's still going to be, he's still going to get 10 goals, 15 assists in the league. Like, that's just what Bruno does. And if he plays a bit deeper, he's going to pick up those tackles. He's going to pick up the key dribbles. He's going to pick up the key passes, which is like scores we want to see. And Bruno is not going anywhere. Whether he's playing alongside a 2 or he's playing up in the 3, I think for 11.4, like I'm just so keen on Bruno. And if he's playing even further forward, like how can you not have him?
Yeah, that's it. That's true. And in the defense episode, it's probably only right that we do talk about Patrick Dorgu, who's had a phenomenal preseason. Didn't get the start today. Diego Dallo started on the left wing, but man, the match against Bournemouth a couple days ago, he looks phenomenal. 4.4 million potentially nailed on left wing back would be nice.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised he didn't start. Like, I'm not concerned. I still think he is the first choice left wing back with Ahmed on the right. It's just what they do in this pivot, like whether it's Maino and Bruno, whether it's Maino and Agate, whether it's Maino and Casemiro. Can Mason Mount play in a two, but maybe not. And so, like, it's curious what they do. I think Lenny Euro, Matthias de Ligt, and then it's a who's who is going to play on the left side. Today it was Luke Shaw. I can see him being there, being a predominantly left back, playing on the left side of a three. So, yeah, interesting what United do. But, yeah, wheels up to Patrick Dorgu if he does get the start game week 1.
That's it. Moving on to Newcastle, who played a few preseason games, haven't really done much, no real relevancy. Jacob Murphy's been probably the best of the bad bunch, but they did sign Aaron Ramsdale.
Oh,
what a big time signing! As they
what a
couldn't get
fourth
James.
Grace.
He's been with 4 relegated sides in his career. He's been relegated 4 times with 4 different clubs.
Yeah, he's been here than ever. It's supposed to be he's supposed to be the number 1 for Arsenal. That never went well, and he's not even in SuperCoach yet, so I can't even tell you how much he is. So he's not there yet.
I don't. Nick Pope probably on the way out. Haven't really heard much of an update. Probably going to be the starting keeper, to be honest. So we're interested to see what he comes out in. Yeah, that Newcastle have been linked to almost every striker in the world as well, while the Isak situation is going on. So yeah, they're after like Johan Wissa, Ben Sesko. Any of these guys would be good for them. Yeah, as we sort of move on to Nottingham Forest, who have been playing the most boring preseason friendly games I've ever seen in my life. Have you seen the scores? 0-0, 0-0, 3-1, 0-0.
Oh, that's a prime Nuno ball right there.
Dave scored 1 goal in 5 games of the preseason.
Yeah, yikes. I'm so keen on the defense. I'm not keen on any other position for Nottingham Forest. Not even.
That's it. They did sign a left winger, Dean Ndoye from Bologna for 40 million. He's just basically Elanga's replacement. He came into the game at, I believe, 6.5. I want to say. Let me quickly check that. 6. So yeah. Potential option there as a left winger to partner Chris Wood, but I'd like to see them score a few more goals before committing to them, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Looking at Sunderland now, they're a semi-relevant team because their whole team is cheap. And there've been a few guys that have been performing. Enzo Lafay's probably been one of their best in the preseason. They're also not really scoring many goals, though. Making some decent moves, though, bringing Granit Xhaka back to the Premier League. And for some reason, Granit Xhaka got signed for Nottingham Forest, according to SuperCoach the other day. So I'm glad.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, 6.5 mil for Xhaka. It's a no from me. But Enzo Lafay, I think if he's playing in the 10 role, definitely someone to look out for. I think he's like 4.2 million, so could be a good budget enabler. It's crazy that Enzo Lafay is more expensive than Ballon d'Or winner Rodri.
That's unreal. It's unreal. And Mark Guiu, I guess he's still a youngster, coming over from Chelsea. He's nice and cheap, so if he can potentially get the 9 jersey, could be another Igor Thiago situation. I believe he's 3.7 million, still on Chelsea on the app. But yeah, it could be a bit of a sneaky one if he gets the start.
Yeah, 3.7 million. Mark Guehi, not to be confused with Mark Guehi, Crystal Palace defender. Yeah, 0.7% owned right now, but I think the hype train will pick up more once I start posting propaganda about him on Twitter. He's just got to get the start. Talking to a couple of Sunderland fans in the FPL space, they don't think he will game week 1, but will eventually. But yeah, definitely one to monitor.
Yeah. For Tottenham Hotspur, plenty of changes. Especially recently, João Palhinha coming from Bayern, and one of the Premier League greats, one of the goats, Heung-min Son, leaving to LAFC this morning. Probably a big talking point out of Spurs. James Maddison stretched it off with a knee injury against Newcastle. Thomas Frank saying it looks pretty bad, and I don't blame him for saying that. I don't think it's going to be good for Matters.
Yeah, no, it didn't look good at all. Stretch it off. Dominic Solanke still not playing.
Yes,
I'm getting kind of concerned because I've got too many Dom Solanke eggs in my basket. But yeah, I think they'll sign a 10. Yeah, I think I'll probably play a 2 with like Polina and Sarr, and then like they'll probably sign a 10. You got Matthias Tell, you've got Brennan Johnson, you've got Richarlison, Solanke. Like they've got plenty of options there. Kulusevski as well. Like, yeah, plenty of options. But I think they definitely need a 10 now that Madison's out. And yeah, like 4% of teams own Madison, so they'll be looking for a new replacement.
Yeah, 100%. So let's hope for my sake, because I'm pretty high on Lucas Bergvall. I hope that he gets that job. I'll take him in a heartbeat. Now we move on to your boys West Ham. Jared Bowen versus the world.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Jared Bowen and El Hadji versus the world. Put some respect on
El Hadji Diouf, who's been the shock of, I suppose, the preseason. Might be nailed on now after today's game. He looks really good.
Yeah, just bombing forward in that Potter system.
Everyone's worried about. I've seen projected lineups that have Kyle Walker-Peters in it over this guy.
Kyle Walker in the big 25, 26.
In the big 2-5.
No.
Kyle Walker-Peters.
No, he was unbelievable. Like he's just bombing up and down, like playing super high, playing like a left winger in that Potter system in like a 3-4-3. You're going to be playing very high, and he had a really nice assist to Jared Bowen this morning. Jared Bowen, I think for me, is a guy that has not left my draft and won't leave my draft. 11.7 million.
Yeah,
probably won't be on pens now that Lucas Paquetá has beaten the betting allegations, so he'll probably start game week 1 and be on pens. But Bowen's just going to be there. And you're forgetting the most important thing, mate. We signed Callum Wilson on a free. So
yes, that is true. That's groundbreaking moves this preseason.
Hey, we had Danny Ings a couple of years ago.
That's it.
Now we got Callum Wilson. So
Andy Carroll type of energy.
There was a time. Yes. There was a time 2 years ago where Eddie Howe was splitting minutes between Isak and Callum Wilson. It was like 2 seasons ago. Crazy times.
Callum Wilson used to be a nailed on 9 in the Prem. Now he doesn't even get mentioned in podcasts about him moving clubs. Jared Bowen for me, I'm in the same boat. He's probably not going to leave my team. He's just, you'd probably lock him into, the extra points for goals, and he scores a fair whack of them, and he sort of has to for West Ham. He's clinical in front of the sticks, and I think he's a guy that I'm definitely going for at the premium price bracket. As we sort of move on to the last team for around the grounds, Wolves haven't really done much. I mean, they signed David Wolf to Wolves. He's a left back. He's going to be Eitner's replacement. But besides that, they haven't done much in the preseason. Johan Arias scored this morning, I believe, as well. Cheeky option. I know you made a post on him a little bit ago. You still keeping an eye on him?
Yeah, like Johan Arias. I think he's a baller. Like I think he's just a genuine baller, and they've got a really, really nice set of fixtures. If you take out the game week 1, they have the second best defensive sort of numbers for the first 10 weeks, like Bournemouth, Everton, Newcastle, Leeds, Tottenham, Brighton, Sunderland, Burnley, Fulham, which leads me to a guy that we're not going to talk about today. Spoiler alert, but I should have mentioned him, and it is Emmanuel Agabadu. 7.7 million just racks up defensive contributions for fun. Like he just gets stuck in. So he's a guy that's a bit of a left field to consider. But yeah, for like you got Strand Larson as well. How much is he? He's 7.7, probably on pens as well. But yeah, the big one is Johan Arias. So bit of a baller out of South America there. So was one of the best players in the Club World Cup, and scored for Wolves in the preseason. So 5.5 million if you're looking for like a mid-tier, a guy that could do some bits. I think he's the guy. But mate, 27 minutes. We haven't even talked about a player around the league. Well and truly, everyone should be up to date. Thank you for that. But when you get into the people's picks, mate, the top 10 most owned defenders. I tried to do something a bit different. I tried to add in some like heat maps and stuff so people know who we're talking about. Problem with this first man is he's not in the Prem before, so we have no like prem data on him. But so this is the heat map out of Leverkusen, and it is Jeremy Frimpong, 6.5 million, 37.6% owned, mate. Look at that heat map. He is playing as a left winger for Leverkusen. I do think this drops back a bit. I don't think Arne Schlott's going to be making him play this high.
I don't know how well Schlott would like his right back playing there.
No, but yeah, playing super high up, as you can see, for Liverpool, one of the better defensive teams. 37.6 million is a lot. I know that you're super keen on him, and I'm probably going to take a stance against him. And we'll have a discussion on him in more detail later on in the episode. But he is the top owned player, and we'll give some more detailed thoughts on him in due course. But number 2, mate, Destiny Udogie, 6.4 million. 4.6 million, 32% owned out of Tottenham. Concerns is he's not fit.
Yeah.
I think people are looking at a name and looking at ownership and hoping that sort of that correlates. He just hasn't been playing preseason, and I think he is struggling for game week 1.
Yeah, I'm now very worried about Destiny Udogie. He's left my team. If he does start game week 1, I don't know if it's going to be consistent game time. Jed Spence played left back in one of their most recent games. He played the left back against Arsenal, I want to say, as well. And like Pedro Porro's nailed as the right back. The left back is up in the air between Udogie and Spence, and honestly, I reckon Spence is winning the battle at the minute. He's looked the better player, and when he's healthy, so I worry.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think they do have a couple of competitive games before game week 1, so definitely worth noting how they do line up there. But for me, it's a no right now until we know that he's fit. However, his Tottenham counterpart, Mickey van der Ven, 5.28 million, 2.4% owned. We can finally get some heat maps up, which is great if I've done this properly. Great stuff. I cannot get this on the stage. Oh, I need to remove that and put that in. There we go.
There we go.
We go. Mickey van der Ven. Playing under Ange. Like Ange was hell for leather with defense. I've been pretty vocal about my love for Vicario as my goalkeeper. I think Van der Ven's the exact same. I think Frank sets up a little bit more conservatively. I expect this heat map to be coming quite a fair bit down. I don't think they're going to dominate possession just as much. And yeah, we can see from like couple of games here, like Burnley game week 1, City 2 is not ideal, but you can probably bench him. Bournemouth, West Ham, Brighton, Wolves, Leeds, Villa, Everton, Chelsea. So 2 top 4 opponents in the first 10 weeks in a much improved side. I think Van der Ven is a really, really nice pick. Very boring, but probably 2 points underpriced because of the way that Ange defended last season.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm not going to turk you out of it. The only thing that worries me, he's not injured at the moment, but he's so injury prone. It's not funny. That's the only thing that really worries me with him. But yeah, no doubting the talent's there for sure, and hopefully the minutes should be back for him as well.
What about Celtic Shaq? I mean, Kyle Walker signing for Burnley, 4.5 million is definitely nailed. Is he a value defender or is he just absolutely washed? 23.5% owned, mate. As you can see there, that City heat map definitely was bombing up and down. We see from the sort of chart here, like a lot of final third passes, good chances created, like good through balls, good crosses as well. Like, I'm just worried about how Burnley set up under Scott Parker and if Kyle Walker is going to be able to play like 28-year-old Kyle Walker or if he's just going to be as washed as we think he is.
Yeah, look, you spoke before about just picking based on name. This is top tier picking just based on the name. Oh, Kyle Walker's cheap. Let's pick him. I've heard of him. He played for Man City, that guy. He's not going to get as advanced in Burnley's system. You wouldn't think, especially he's not going to get the returns that he did at City back in the day. That's for sure. He's definitely lost a step. I'm not going to doubt that he's probably underpriced. Like 4.2 is so cheap. He's almost min priced, but at the same time, I don't think he makes enough money to the point where it's worth me starting with Kyle Walker.
Yeah, no, nor do I. And not when there's so many cheapies sort of this year at defense. I don't have a play profile for Yazin Ukchan. So we're just going to talk about him. I just don't see him getting game time. He is very, very well owned. He is 22.1% owned, 3.5 million. I think people are just looking at a price and hoping. Like at the left there, we've got Luca Dean and our boy Ian Matson. I just don't see a world where old Ucheng gets in.
He won't feature. He's so far down the pecking order. I'm fairly sure he's injured too. I
Yes.
might be wrong, but I'm fairly sure he's injured. No, I think it's just. Surely this will drop when we get closer to the actual date of the EPL starting. But I think people just picked him just because he was 3.5 and probably the first 3.5 million that pops up.
Yeah.
so they
Yeah.
just picked him.
Look, we don't have massive reach in the EPL Supercoach community, but I hope people listen to this episode and realize how many cheapies there are. Like, we're going to name probably 8 good viable cheapies that are definitely nailed. And one man that is nailed is big VVD, Virgil van Dijk. He is the 6th most owned player, 9.04 million, 18.7% owned. Steady as a rock. We'll play 38 games. We'll play 90 minutes a game. We'll play every Champions League game. We'll play every FA Cup game. He'll play everything. He's the best defender in the world. He's in the top 3 defenders that the Premier League's ever seen. There is not much more to say about VVD. Like, he is a guy like him in this Supercoach format that goes for 38 weeks and we only get 44 trades. You do the math. It's just over 1 trade a week. Virgil's a guy that you pick in game week 1, and in game week 38, he's still there. He's still putting up points. He averaged 9 points last year, probably averaged 9 points the year before that, the year before that, the year before that, the year before that. Like, he is just as consistent as ever. He's the best centre back in the world, and I cannot begrudge anyone for spending the money on him.
Yeah, 100%. I'm in the same boat. VVD's a guy who I probably will own at some point this season. He's going to stick around 9 million, maybe go up, maybe a mil, maybe down a mil, but he's going to be around that price. He's so good that there's just consistency everywhere. I have no doubt that if you want to pick him, he will do a job for you for all 38 game weeks. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at sort of defensive sort of work from the first 10 weeks, if I can pull it up, I think for the first 10, Liverpool sits quite low. Like, sits 17th, but I mean, it's just Liverpool. Bournemouth at home, Newcastle away. I don't think Newcastle are going to be as prominent as they were last season, nor Bournemouth. Arsenal at home, yeah, look, could be a tough game. Burnley away is fine. Everton at home is fine. Palace away is fine. Chelsea away is fine. United at home is fine. Brentford, Villa. Like, I think these fixtures look much worse on paper than they do in practice. So Virgil van Dijk, he is just that guy, and he's a guy you're paying up for, then fantastic. Number 7, mate, William Saliba. Saliba. 7.51 million, 15% owned. He's the cheaper of the two in that Arsenal defense. And if we talk about, like, defensive stats, mate, like, we look at Arsenal last season, led the league in pretty much everything. Non-penalty expected goals against, expected goals conceded, clean sheets, actual goal score. They led the league in everything. Like, the only thing that I've got concerns over with Gabriel and Saliba both is the draw to start the season is not ideal. I think if we look at this, I have to put it back on my big screen because my eyes aren't great. They rank 8th, but it's United away, Leeds at home, Liverpool away, Forest at home, City away, Newcastle away. So that's 3 of the top 4 last year in the first 6 weeks. Like, it's a tough start to the year, but we keep saying it. In this format, when trades are minimal, are you paying 7.5 for Saliba, or I think Gabriel's just that little bit more? Where are you lying?
Personally, right, if it was based on right this second, if I was picking between the two, I'm taking Saliba just because Gabriel hasn't had a preseason game. He's been injured and he's cheaper. But yeah, I think there's just a semi-rotation risk with Saliba. He's probably the one that gets rested out of that defense, between like him and if they decide to play Jurrien Timber at left back or right back or wherever, then he's probably the guy that gets rotated out of that defense. But I'm not going to knock you for picking an Arsenal defender. I just do wonder if you can make it wait a little bit because they're going to be ever consistent, just maybe after those tough matchups in the first 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think so. Like Saliba, what did I say? He was 7.5. He is 800k more than Raya. I think I would prefer to have a defender over a goalkeeper at Arsenal just because they're not going to be facing a million shots. So Raya's not going to be racking up those save points. But also Gabriel's just got the much better goal threat. Like they play for set pieces, they play for corners, they look for Gabriel, that big Brazilian head of his. So I think they just look for that. So if you got the extra 2 million, it's obviously nice to say. I'll be paying up for Gabriel knowing he's fit. But if we talk about players we don't like at that premium price point, Gabriel does feature in mine. So it shows you I'm not overly keen on Arsenal defense to start the season. Mate, number 8, Manchester United's Lenny Yoro, 3.9 million, 13% owned, most likely playing on the right side of a back three. Yeah, I mean, I think he's pretty nailed. 3.9 million for a United goalkeeper with the upside they've got. It's just a pretty gross start to the season, like fixtures wise. It's not the best for a defender for United.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Lenny Yoro. He is cheap, obviously, but I do worry that once all the defenders come back, Lissandro Martinez, Harry Maguire gets game time. He's going to be apparently a key part for them this season. Mazraoui probably features a little bit in defense, and they're testing out Luke Shaw in the left of that back three. So potential moves all around the place. I do worry that Yoro is probably the first guy out of the three. But yeah, I guess I can't talk you out of it until we see actual lineups because he is cheap. But yeah, I'd just be wary for now.
Yeah, I'm probably a little bit more high on him than you are. I just think he offers so much technicality on the ball. I think he's so silky on it. So yeah, it'll depend on sort of how he plays. But I think his role is relatively safe for the first little while. Number 9th most owned player, mate, Maxime de Kuyper from Brighton, 5 million, 8% owned. And a heat map like this, mate, gets me excited. He's a very fun fullback to have, and just absolutely bombing up and down the field.
He's so fun to watch. I'm not going to sit here and act like I watch every Club Brugge game ever, but the couple games that I have seen of him, oh boy, he's fun, and in the Champions League and in the the Europa League and whatnot, he's fun to watch. He just runs all day. He's my top defender, and a heat map like that tells you why. Take note of the little red marks in the corners.
Just bombs on. 202 professional games, 20 goals, 37 assists. So that's one every 4 games from defense, and he gets very high up the pitch. And I can't believe you're not sitting there grinding the Club Brugge games, man. I can't believe you're not watching Belgium Pro Division 1 in your spare time. But no, he's a stud. He looks good for Belgium. He looks good in the Champions League last year, and yeah, he's performed super well for Club Brugge. The concern is he's a Barco from last year. If anyone played FPL or Dream Team SuperCoach or Dream Team EPL last year, Barco was bottom dollar and was hyped to the moon and then got sent out on loan. I think that's happening with the Kuyper, but yeah, like he's so high. Like he's in my team right now, and it'd take a miracle for him not to be there game week 1 as my sort of somehow my most expensive defender at 5 million. So yeah, really keen on him. And the last one, mates, number 10th most owned player, Ezri Konsa, Aston Villa, 5.49 million, 8% owned. I think it's just what it says on the tin with Ezri Konsa. I don't know if there's a huge amount of upside with him. I think it's just sort of priced at what it is. We said it before with like Ian Matson, like the fixtures are very good for the first 10 weeks. So that would be it. But he's not a guy that I would expect to have in my team come the 38th game week of the season.
Yeah, we spoke a little bit before about consistency with defenders like a VVD or a Saliba. Konsa obviously 2 mil cheaper than a Saliba, but he's pretty inconsistent scoring wise, and that's just the whole Villa team when you look at the last couple of years sort of stats. But yeah, he is just a bit of what it says in the tin. He is maybe a point underpriced, but don't love it.
I don't think it's enough to move the needle for me. In saying that, though, like they have the 5th best fixtures for defenders: Newcastle, Brentford, Palace, Everton, Sunderland, Fulham, Burnley, Tottenham, City, Liverpool. So if you were jumping on him, it's probably like a nice 7-week play because you do have some really good fixtures there. But he doesn't get stuck in defensively. Like I think he's their best defender, but from a statistical standpoint, like doesn't get through the work that some others would. So definitely one to consider there. But that is the 10 most popular players. They're the ones that surprise us. Is there anyone in here that surprises you? Like Frimpong for me at nearly 40% owned. I think it might just be a name thing.
Yeah, it's
I think there's
about it.
Yeah. I think obviously Destiny Doggy at 32% is surprising as well. But the big one, Yasin Uchen, 22.1% owned is just crazy.
Yeah, that's probably the main guy that's a bit like, what are we doing here? But yeah, I guess some of them make sense. A lot of names that people would have heard of, and even if there's newer guys that potentially heard of, and like Kyle Walker and Lenny Yoro, these guys who went for big money and played for good teams. So no real surprises besides Yachin Ojkin.
Yeah, no, agreed. Mate, let's get into probably the part not that soundbite. The part that everyone's most keen for, the cheapies under 4.5 million that we're going to discuss. That was not the soundbite I wanted to play. So we're going to give you 2 cheapies each that we really, really like. And then we've actually got 4 honorable mentions. So we've got 8 cheapies here that actually were not mentioned at all this episode that you really need to be considering because their roles are really good. We think they've got good stability. I think defense is a place you can really sort of cheap out on. Deadly, I think you'll agree. Like when we went through this list, we went through the sort of 2 midfielders, it's two mid prices that we like and two like premiums that we liked. And I just found it really hard to get names in those other price brackets, but defenders, like I was just rattling them off left, right, and center for the cheapies. So I think it's a place you can save a little bit of money and build towards a good defense. Like if you look at like a Saliba or a Gabriel and that draw that we've said, like if they come down a bit, you can definitely capitalize on them, mate. But for me, the first one is Patrick Dorgu, 4.4 million out of Manchester United, left mid. It's going to say left wing back on the team sheet. It's left mid. He's playing so high and showed glimpses last year, and I think that role is definitely his. Like I can't really think of who's going to be playing that high on the left. Like unless they want to move Diego Dallo over to the left, I just don't see that happening. Like Luke Shaw, his days of playing up and down the field for 80 minutes, 90 minutes are gone. So I do think it's definitely Patrick Dorgu's spot. And at 4.4 million, mate, like I just think it's, if he's named game week 1, you're going to have to pry him out of my cold, dead hands not to be in my team.
Yeah, I think he's pretty comfortably the top defender cheapie wise now. He's jumped all these other guys that we're about to mention. Yeah, if he's in the team game week 1, on the team sheet at left mid, left wing back, whatever you want to call it, he's in. He's a phenomenal player and a phenomenal young talent, and could do good things for Man U this year. And I think pretty convincingly he's going to be in both our teams.
Yeah, started that game against Bournemouth, played the first half, 1 goal, 1 assist in the first half as United ran away 4-1 winners. Pretty settled. This would be like half of what I would expect. Yoro, Maguire, Shaw. Probably take Maguire out, put in Matthias de Ligt, and then Martinez to play on the right over on the left over Shaw when he's back fit.
Yeah,
like the front 3 was a bit how you going. Like Diallo played sort of right 10, Mount played the left 10, and Rasmus Højlund up front. But like I just think he started with them. He did what he needed to. Amarim got him off at halftime and just put him on ice. Like I was so impressed with how he played in that game week 1. And he's a guy that I'm really, really finding it hard not to have in my team. But yeah, mate. So a little bit of an exciting winger. Yours is probably less exciting, but more of just an absolute stalwart.
Yeah, absolute most boring snooze fest of a pick, but Electric Steve Esteve, Maxime Esteve from Burnley, he is locked on. Like same price as Lenny Yoro, but you don't got to worry about a potential benching concern or nothing like that. He's their number 1 defender, even with Kyle Walker and Axel Tuanzebe and all these guys in the team. They love him the most. Just signed him to a 5-year extension. Huge DEFCON guy. We love our DEFCON. I think for 3.9 million, you can't really go wrong. He could just sit on your bench, potentially play him on a good week, like maybe game week 2 against Sunderland. If you got to bench a guy, you could play Esteve pretty convincingly and pray that a clean sheet pops up. So yeah, I think obviously Burnley isn't the greatest team, but this is a guy who will get you points just from existing. We've
Yeah,
made
like
plenty of posts about him, talking about him. I think he's pretty safe.
I said it in game week one. I said it in our very first episode. Like, I genuinely think if he was not at Burnley, he would be like a 70 million pound centre back. Like I think he's like a Rolls Royce centre back, and I think it's just another one of these guys that have come off the French production line that are just absolutely world class. I think he's going to be very, very good. I don't know why my internet's slow. I pay way too much for internet at the moment, but it's slow. Yeah, I made a massive post on him as like a must-have cheapie. I don't have the pure stats, but ranked basically like top 90th percentile in every single stat in the championship last year. I think that translates quite well. Here we go. I finally found my post. Yeah, first name on the championship. Like, he's a very, very good passer of the ball as well. 82%, 87% win rate, aerial win rate. And you do get points for that as well. So yeah, he's cheap. His role is super, super solid. Like, he's got really, really good bonus friendly defensive stats. I think he'll just rack up those even in games that don't get clean sheets. And if Burnley can continue defending the way they did in the championship last year, they'll be getting a few clean sheets. I would probably say 6 or 7 this season. And yeah, Scott Parker loves to set up in a way that is very boring to watch, which is great for old Maxim Electric Steve. So big ups to him, 3.9 million. Mate, my next cheapie is my boy. It's Diouf, 3.75 million out of the best team in England. Come on the Irons. Mate, he's absolutely unreal. Like, he is so, so good. Played for Slavia Prague last year, like, just unreal. Like, 9 assists, 2 goals last year. Played today, got an assist. Like, he was in the notes before today, but played left mid today. Assist to Bowen. I think he's nailed in this team. It's a Potter system to the T.
Yeah, I don't think that's the last time we'll hear Diouf assist, Bowen goal this season. We'll put it that way.
Hope not.
Yeah, I think it's as I said before. I've seen team sheets that have had, you know, Kyle Walker-Peters or someone else at left back and Emerson, but I think it's pretty convincingly especially after today, it's probably going to be Wan-Bissaka on the right and him on the left. Yeah, I think you can't really go wrong as long as he's named game week 1. Pick him. There's pure upside about him. Surely gets the start too. Spent 16 million on him. They're probably going to play him.
Yeah, I think it's 16 plus a bit of Mayo on there with some add-ons. So like, I don't think we're paying that not to play him. And Kyle Walker-Peters in the big 25 is not someone that's moving my needle. But yeah, El Hadji, Malik Diouf, remember the name, mate. Who are you looking at as your next player?
This one's a bit of a guy who's we've got a couple of Leeds guys to talk about, but Jaden Bogle, I reckon, pretty convincingly starts at right wing back for them, or even a right wing position. He has played very advanced up the ground in potential games, and I think he's pretty nailed on to that right back position. They've got a few guys who could switch around in spots, including Goodmanson, who we would talk about in a second, on the left. But yeah, I think Jaden Bogle, if you're looking for just a cheap starter who could potentially, you're just looking for a guy who can just sit on your bench and fund your team. He's a guy that will play most weeks, I believe, for Leeds. He was one of their key pieces last season in the championship. So yeah, I back him.
Yeah. So they're probably our top 4 cheapies. So just to recap: Dorgu, 4.4 million out of Manchester United, Esteve, 3.9 million out of Burnley, Diouf, 3.75 million out of West Ham, and Bogle, 3.75 million out of Leeds. But we couldn't narrow this list down to just 4. There are 4 other guys we're really, really keen on. Goodmanson out of Leeds, 4.5 million, going to be attacking on that left in a back 4. They just signed him as well. Like, he's going to be really, really handy for Leeds, and they were a world-class defensive team last year. Burnley got all the plaudits in the championship, but Leeds were just as good. Reinildo from Sunderland, mate, come out of a Diego Simeone system, out of Atletico Madrid. Give me a couple of set pieces as well, by the sounds of it. I think Lafay will be on most of them, but Reinildo from Sunderland, definitely another one to have on there. Mate, out of oh my goodness, I cannot talk. Out of Wolverhampton, I was trying to out of Wolverhampton. It's Kiana However. I think he's bottom dollar. I think he's like 3.5 million.
Yeah, 3.5.
Pull up because I made a tweet on him. Yeah, bottom dollar. He started every game for Wolves this preseason. He's 3rd for minutes in the team. He just registered an assist from wingback. He had 1 goal, 2 assists from Auxerre last season in League 1. And Nelson Semedo left for Fenerbahce. So there's definitely a role opened for him, and he's been playing good minutes in the preseason, 3.5 million. Any cheapie at 3.5 million, I'm going to be having in my team. And we just sort of spoke about Wolves' fixtures, mate. They're the second best team in the league for the first 10 weeks. I'm not going to be playing him game week 1. But yeah, Kijana Hoever, yeah, I'm super, super keen.
Yeah, I agree. He's in my team at the minute. I don't think you can really go wrong with a bottom dollar probably starter. It's simple as that. Look, he's a guy I've joked about before because he originally comes from Liverpool and had high potential in FIFA, and I used to sign him in FIFA all the time. But no, he's actually a decent footballer in real life. A few years later, who would have thought? So maybe some potential worked out. But yes, don't start him game week 1 if you pick him. But I think you can pretty safely pick him, and he should be hopefully on the team sheet game week 1.
Yeah, I don't see why he wouldn't. Yeah, playing good minutes in the preseason. Like I said, had a really, really good season last year for Auxerre. So, yeah, I think it's translated well. It's good to see him back in the Prem and hopefully living up to the potential that he once had. So, yeah, 3.5 million. Keep an eye out for him, mate. One that you've put here that I've not really looked at, but I'm going to give you the open mic and talk to me about the man from the Cherries.
Yeah, Adrian Truffett. Milos Kerkez making his way to Liverpool, and they found their replacement with Truffett. We know what Kerkez did for Bournemouth last season. He's a phenomenal player. Truffett, probably obviously slightly worse than Kerkez, but he's going to do a job in that left wing back role. I did bring up before that potentially I'm worried about the clean sheets for Bournemouth, especially if they lose Ilya Zabani. But he's a guy who potential upside at the exact same price. I would take a Juve and whatnot over him, but 21 goal contributions over the last 3 seasons. He's got 2 goals in the preseason from the wing back spot. So keep an eye on Truffett.
I just want to say as well, like, look, maybe you and I are miles off, or maybe the game, the play base just is not in tune enough right now. But I'm looking, every single one of these players that we have listed is under 5% owned, and most of them are under 1% owned. Dorgo is 4.1, Esteve is 4.4. Diouf is like 2% owned. Bogle is like 1.1%. Goodmanson's less than 1%. Ranillo is less than 1%. Whoever's less than 1%. Truffett's like 0.1% as well. So I don't know if like we're trying to outthink the room here, or people are just looking at Kyle Walker because he's a name. But some of these cheapies, I think they're severely going under the radar. And hopefully after this episode, the numbers pick up. And like full transparency, like most of these guys are in my team.
Yeah,
we're not just saying them to feel like they're in both mine and Deadly's teams.
My most expensive defender, as much as I didn't want to get rid of Ray Nori, there's just so much value in these guys that Maxim de Kuyper is my most expensive defender, and I think it's the same for you.
Yeah, it is. I dropped my latest team over on X. Look, it's changing every day. Deadly and I will try and do a preseason team reveal maybe late next week, because the season does kick off next Sunday, which goodness me, it's 2 Sundays time, so it feels like it's very, very soon. But mate, we've just given 8 cheapies that we absolutely love. There are 4 that we absolutely loathe, and I'm going to kick us off with the big man from Burnley himself, and it is Kyle Walker, 4.5 million. I think he's a fine pick, but for $1 million less, you can get Hover, who I think just has way more upside. For 600k less, you can get Esteve, who is just going to be defensive rock. For the same price, you can get Dorgu. For the same price, you can get Goodmanson, who's going to be on a couple of set pieces as well. So I just cannot get behind the Kyle Walker pick at all.
Yeah, no, it's easy. It's just a name pick, surely. Like, he'll play. He's not going to be the same player that he was back in the day. I think it's a bit of a watch him float off to sea type of guy, just as he winds down his career. But yeah, Kyle Walker's also not a guy I'm looking at all.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, one end of the age spectrum to the other. You're not keen on Lenny Yoro.
Yeah, and I sort of just voiced my concerns before. It's just that I do worry because Lisandro Martinez, so unlucky with injuries, should play on the left side when he comes back. He's resuming light trainings quite soon. They're doing everything they can to get as many minutes into Aiden Heaven, who scored an own goal today. But there's a potential swapsies risk between Yoro and Heaven at times there. Yoro didn't play many games last year. I do have concerns with this Man United defense, and I'm not really looking at anyone that's not a wing back for them at the minute.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's I also don't think he's going to get like away. And the beauty of SuperCoach is I think it is a 3-round rolling average. I'm still trying to confirm that with the SuperCoach head honchos. But if we do get 2 weeks to look at him and they do look well, I think the draw does take a nice turn after that. So definitely one to look at. For me, mate, yeah, I've sort of mentioned it. It's Uchen from Aston Villa. Just 20% of teams just. We've given you 8 cheapies at a less than 5% owned that have much better. So check those out. But mate, yours, young defender out of Tottenham.
It's
Potentially playing
sort
some
of
game time, but yeah, not sure.
It's the same sort of reason as Uchan. Luka Vuskovic, he's in 5% of teams. Potential game time, but I can't see him getting ahead of Christian Romero, Mickey van de Ven, or even Dragusin when he's playing. So he's more of a future type of guy, but for this season, 5% of teams, he won't play to start.
Yeah, it might get some game time later, but I just don't think we have the trades to be preying on later. There is no AEs in this. So for anyone that comes from NRL, there's no AEs. If you come from an AFL background, the reserves work the same as AFL, not NRL. So if you've come from deadly side of things on the AFL side, obviously you're aware how the bench works. If you come from my side of things on the NRL standpoint, you basically pick one reserve per position, and that's who comes in. So there's no AEs, but still, we've only got 44 trades. You don't want to be wasting them on a young kid that might get game time, might not. Mate, the mid prices. Let's move into it. So the way that we categorize these with the cheapies were under 4.5. We do the mid ranges from 4.6 to 6.5, and the primos from 6.6 above. There's a couple here that sort of we like. It was a little bit harder to find names. I think there's only probably 4 that we liked in this price bracket, and some of them were a stretch. But my first one, mate, is the Dutchman Mickey van de Ven out of Tottenham. We spoke about him in the top 10. I just think under Frank, like he's got attacking upside. He can bomb forward when he wants to, but I think under Ange, like they just went so hell for leather last year that it was really tough for them to rack up any meaningful clean sheets. Like if we look, they were so far down the bottom of the table. Only got 6 clean sheets last year. I wouldn't be shocked if that is up in the 12th, like the 12, 13 range. Like Forest got 13 last year. Everton got 12 last year. I think Frank can take them back to there. And we've seen a guy like Tarkovsky and Branthwaite like really, really do well in an Everton defensive system. I think look at numbers from like Christian Norgard as well last season. I just think Mickey van de Ven could be a really big winner under this Frank system.
Yeah, 100%. Have you got the numbers there? How many clean sheets did Frank's Brentford have last season?
That's a great question. Frank's Brentford got 8.
And he's got a better team.
Yeah, 100%. Like 54 expected goals against compared to Ange, who had 61. And yeah, much better defense. Like Christian Romero would go for $70-80 million to a top European side. Mickey van de Ven, obviously, probably a similar ilk. You've got Pedro Porro, who is absolutely world class as well, and Desi Udogie, who's a really good young promising player. They've just signed Yao Polina as well, which I think is going to have a huge impact on that defensive shape as well. So I just think it's huge upticks for Tottenham defensive assets. I think they're quite underpriced.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And it literally my only concerns with Tottenham is just if they can stay on the park. These guys like Van de Ven, Romero got injured plenty of times last year. I know
they won the Europa League last year, but like I'd really wish they didn't, because you just want them to have a full season in the Prem and just get to 38 games. So they do have midweek competition to contend with, but that's not putting me off Mickey van de Ven. If I got the money, if I can find the money, he's definitely going to be in my team.
Yeah, I'm not going to knock it. Just my only concern is the injuries. That's it. That's all. The only knock I can give you.
Oh yeah, sweet. Your man. Who are you liking at the up to 6.5 price bracket? I say you've stretched it as far as you can go.
Yeah, as you said before, we had to do a bit of digging for this. I struggled to find. Obviously, we'll speak about my other guy before, but to find a second was tough. But Jeremy Frimpong, he's a guy that you're not as high on as me. Most owned, I believe, probably player in the game at the minute. Only behind Cole Palmer. Look, we know Trent was good. just a fantastic football player. But Jeremy Frimpong is one of the best right backs, right wingers, right mids, whatever you want to call it, in the world. He's been in an undefeated Leverkusen team as probably the best player in the team, and comes to Liverpool now in an Arne Slot system that really favours right backs, obviously. So if you want to take the punt on him, I don't know if I'm going to join you just because of how much value there is, but I am worried that I will be having to trade him in pretty quickly.
Yeah. I'll give my 2 cents on Frimpong very shortly when we talk about the players that we don't like at the price point. So show you where I'm sitting there, mate. For mine, mine is Ian Maatsen as well. You said we had to dig deep. I think Ian Matsen's very much on the cusp for me. If he gets to start, I'm seeing it hard not to start with him. In games he started last year, averaged 8 points a game. So that makes him $3.7 million underpriced if he is starting. The problem is the ever-present Luca Digne, who is just a thorn in our side, who is just there to fuck us all. So hopefully, he plays less of a role this year. But yeah, Luca Digne needs to go. But Ian Maatsen, Unai Emery, good evening, loves to take a slower stance with some of these younger players and bed them in. And yeah, only the 9 starts for Maatsen last season. So hopefully that picks up this year. And if he is starting game week 1, like he's so good. Like he's so attacking. And he's just going to make a mockery of his price at 4.7 million if he can get the start. So keep your eye out for game week 1. The beauty of rolling lockout is if he doesn't, then you can make a move elsewhere. But if we get word that he's starting game week 1, 9 starts, averaged 8 points a game last season, he's so attacking. Huge on Ian Maatsen if he does get the start.
If you can go back and look at his price last year, he started at 3.5. Obviously didn't play many games until game week 31, 15, game week 32 at 10, and a game week 33 at 21. Went from 3.6k to 8.2 within 3 weeks. Or 3.6 mil to 8.2 in 3 weeks. He's got the talent. It just Luca Digne is just there.
He's
existing.
He's a thing. He's a thing. Yeah, I'm so confused. I'm so confused because like I read reports that Villa are done with him, but they want to extend his contract for less. Like I don't know what it looks like. Maybe it's just depth with European stuff or domestic competitions. But yeah, no, Ian Maatsen is an absolute stud, and he just needs to get that start. Mate, who are you liking? We've already sort of touched on him, and we know your love for the Belgian Pro League. But talk to us a bit more about Maxime de Kuyper.
Yeah, no, he's my top defender, just full stop. Let alone mid-pricer. We know how good Purvis Estupiñán was for FPL players a couple of years back, and Maxime de Kuyper is even more attacking. So I think he's just as good, if not better. They've signed him. He's nailed on. The only person really challenging for his left back spot is the Turkish Kadiglu, I think his name is.
Hadagoglu or whatever his name.
Anyway, it's not going to be him. De Kuyper is going to start. Plenty of he's got like 37 goal contributions in the past three seasons. Like he's just a freak. I think in a side that's pretty well crying out for attack, he's going to have to bomb up and down the wings. And we saw that heat map before. It's very favourable to do that. So yeah, I'm starting with him. No matter what, pretty much.
It's going to allow guys like Matoma to cut in a bit more as well. You mentioned Purvis Estupiñán. Another one that comes to mind, if you can stay on the park, is Tariq Lamptey. Like these just high bombing wing backs thrive at Brighton, and Maxime de Kuyper is a guy that, I'm going to be having pending a game week 1 availability. But mate, we'll move into 2 players I'm avoiding, and the number one for me is Jeremy Frimpong. We've discussed him. I do not doubt the talent whatsoever. I think he's one of the best wing backs in the world. I also think Connor Bradley is a very, very good, very, very good player. I think Connor Bradley eats into his minutes a fair bit.
That's fair.
I wouldn't be shocked if Frimpong doesn't start week 1, just to bed him in a little bit. Like you've got Bradley, who, if they didn't sign Frimpong, like I think Arne Slot is very happy to have Connor Bradley in his team. So I think come game week 6 or 7, when we're talking about a preview and review, we're talking about buying Jeremy Frimpong. But for me, I'm just not keen in game week 1. I will caveat that. I think I'm happy to take on the ownership at 36 9% or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and just hope that Liverpool take a while to adjust because they do have up to 5 new signings in that starting 11, which is a big overhaul. Every year we always hear these teams have massive overhaul. I'm a West Ham fan. We had it 4 years ago. We overhauled the team. We spent 300 million to overhaul the site, and we sucked. Like, it took us a while to gel. And if they do sign Isaac, it's going to be even more reshuffling. So, look, if he was 10% owned, I think I could live with it. But at nearly 40%, I think I'm going to happy to take it on and just pray that the minutes are not nailed as what people seem to think they are.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. Connor Bradley's a fantastic footballer. I'm not going to doubt that. And they probably do want to bleed him a little bit more, try and if they keep him around, maybe potentially rest Frimpong for these games while they're in the Champions League and whatnot. And yeah, it's definitely one to look out for.
Moving from one side of the field back to the other.
Yeah, and Andy Robertson, it's like it was hard to pick players, but it's also hard to pick players we're avoiding. Everyone in this price bracket is just it's what they says. They're just all right. So actual avoiding players isn't hard. Like Tino Livramento, he's 5.7. He's probably going to stay 5.7 at 6% owned. But Andy Robertson, with the signing of Milos Kerkesh, he's probably behind him and Shimikas now. I think to the 1% that have him, I don't think Andy Robertson's going to be the guy at left back for Liverpool this season. I think his ship is now sailing as he slows down his career.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Andy Robertson's best days are behind him. You got Kostas Tsimikas. You've got Milos Kerkez as well. Like there's just so much competition for him. And I think you make a really good point. Like this mid spot, apart from De Kuiper, and Mickey Van de Ven, like it's just dead. I just think basically up until like 8.5 million, it's just a dead spot. And you kind of want to avoid those. You want to be making money or picking premiums. And I think I'm very much going for just a guns and rookies setup in my team, apart from one Argentinian Everton midfielder. I'm just staying away from a lot of these like just mid-tier guys. And one of them being Reece James. I just think Reece James at 5.9 million, mate, like him at his best is absolutely unbelievable. But I feel like I've been saying him at his best for 4 years now, and he cannot stay on the park whatsoever. I worry that the game's sort of gone away from him a little bit in that Enzo Maresca system. I don't know where he fits in this 11. I think Marc Cucurella's got locked down on one of them, and then like Malo Gusto was playing really well last year. So like, where does the spot open up for Reece James? And he just cannot put three or four games together.
Yeah, that's it. And even in the Club World Cup, him and Gusto were basically rotating every half. They weren't playing full games. They weren't even getting 60-minute 2-pointers. They were just there for most of it. So yeah, James is a pretty safe avoid, and the fact that he's 6% owned, I don't love it. I think fantastic footballer when he's healthy and fit, but it's starting to get out of hand now.
Yeah, no, agreed. Speaking of football, speaking of wingbacks that can't stay healthy, Bologna scammed Arsenal out of Ricardo Calafiori.
Can we talk about how well Bologna just sells players?
Thiago Motta just scammed the entire Arsenal.
Thiago Motta is he went there for 2 seasons, just basically made them a powerhouse using their 2-7-2 and then just went and then just sold them all and pieced out. Like he made Joshua Xerxes look good.
Calafiori. Made Ricardo Calafiori look like one of the greatest left backs of all time, and he is not good. He's injured and not starting or not playing good minutes.
Yeah, no, the fact it's basically just another one of those. I had to scroll down to basically the guys who are 1% owned to avoid, because everyone else is meh. It's whatever. Like I can't really say knock those other guys.
Oh yeah, like I can't tell you to avoid Lewis Hall, but it's like he's not going to get you very far.
That's it. But yeah, Calafiori injured. Look, he's probably not going to start game week 1 at this rate, even though it looks like he's probably the only left back on the team sheet. But
picked up a yellow card. Picked up a yellow card 1 in every 5 games last year. So he's just gonna be a nightmare when he does play as well. Played 19 games, which is only half the season, 4 yellow cards. So it's just like, I just think
He
you can spend
doesn't get
money.
many attacking returns. It's literally just most of his points come from the centre backs keeping clean sheets for him.
Yeah, no, exactly. Mate, let's be a bit more positive. Moving to some premiums that we like.
Oh,
Even with the premiums, like there wasn't like a heap that I was like I'm frothing for. Like I
yeah.
love Daniel Munoz, but 10.4 million is a lot. He does play like a winger. Like he plays so high for Palace, and I think that continues this year. 10.4 million. I would expect him to be the best defender in the game again. Nothing has changed from Palace for him to suggest not. He can get stuck into the defensive side of the ball, but also just bombs forward. 10.4 million. I don't really know what more there is to say about the best defender in the SuperCoach game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's definitely fair. Even like the season before, he was at 9 million price. So this guy's just obviously just a attacking beast. We know this. Yeah, I'm just look the 10.4 million. It's a bit of a hefty price tag to pay for a defender. That's the only reason I'm happy to wait, and hopefully he has like a couple drop games. He drops down to about 8 mil, 7 mil, that sort of area, and can pick him up and enjoy the ride, because I think this is a guy that we're probably both going to have at some point during the season as a consistent scorer with huge upside.
Yeah, no, agreed. Who are you fading, mate?
Yeah, Gabriel Magalhaes, as we said before, for Arsenal, 9 point. No, I'm not. Fading? Yes. Well, I don't. It's what we
Sorry.
like.
We're talking
Yeah,
about players that we like. My apology. Yes. Who
yes.
do you like?
We're positive. We're positive. Yeah, we'll sneak peek on who I'm cold on, but I really like Ryan Oatenori, Man City's new left back coming over from Wolves. We saw Josko Guardiola play left back in a spot where they didn't have any. They've been crying out for a left back for a few years now, and they finally got a pure one in Oatenori, who's probably the best one in the league, and he probably was last season. I did do a bit of a post on him, so I grabbed that back up. But yeah, there was Josko Guardiola passing to Jeremy Doku in key pass wise was second only behind Trent and Salah, and Eitner is a better passer, and I think him and Doku will do wonderful things on that edge, to be honest. And yeah, I'm really high on him. Extremely good attacking player, can get up the park. Look, the fact he's only 5% owned, and he's my top primo defender by far at the minute at the price. Look, he was fantastic. The only real knock I have on him is Pep Roulette and how well people get moved around.
That's what I was gonna say. If you've never played this game before, Pep Guardiola is going to control your mental health for 38 weeks, because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. Unless your name's Erling Haaland, no one in this team is safe. He will drop anyone and just rotate anyone. If you told me Reynat Nori was going to play 30 out of 38 games, I'd start with him. A million percent I would start with him. I'm just so terrified that something happens. He looks at his wife the wrong way. Reynat Nori just like looks at Pep's wife, and all of a sudden Josko Guardiola is playing left back, and it's Ruben Dias, it's John Stones, it's Manuel Akanji, like it's just anyone else playing centre back, and they move Josko Guardiola out to left back. But yeah, like they've signed Reynat Nori. He was unbelievable for Wolves last year. I think he's going to be unbelievable for Man City. And I think 8.1 is a really good price. That's Wolves' defensive numbers in a City team. So I think that's definitely going to improve. It's just if you can withstand the brute force of Pet Roulette. I think the beauty of SuperCoach compared to an FPL is you can pick your cover. So like if Reynat Nori doesn't come on, you get to pick who comes on for him off your bench. But the biggest concern is he comes on for a 15-minute cameo and picks up a 1-pointer. So if you can deal with the swings of Pep, then I think Reynat Nori is absolutely the second best defender behind Munoz.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, no, I was really confused because I haven't filled out the bottom part of this section in the players we're cold on. So I'll do it while you're talking. But I couldn't realize why this player was here and at the bottom because I'm really keen on Marc Cucurella. At 7.6 million for Chelsea, I think you're getting a really, really good attacking wingback in a system that he is nailed in a system that underperformed last year. It's why you're keen on Robert Sanchez. It's why I'm keen on Marc Cucurella. Like I think the defense really improves, and I think his attacking output stays the same. So 7.6 million. If you can't afford a Reynat Nori, I think it's similar output. Nori's probably got slightly better clean sheet potential, but I know that Cucurella is going to be nailed on week in, week out. and at 7.6 million, playing on the left as like a wing back. I think he's just going to absolutely bomb forward. And yeah, you're going to double up with Chelsea as well, mate.
Yeah, Levi Colwill is my other guy I really like, and it's just because I really want a piece of this Chelsea run to start the season. It's so good. Palace at home, into West Ham away, Fulham at home, Brentford away, Man United away, and then Brighton back at home. It's really, really solid, and I think all these guys can get some DEFCON points. Like Colwill, he seems the most nailed on of the centre backs by far. And I'm not going to talk you out of either of Kukurea or Colwill. I think both of them are very viable picks at 7.6 and 7.2 respectively, and they'll do a job for you, especially in the opening week.
Yeah, no, fully agreed. Mate, let's get a bit more negative. Love to have some negativity on the podcast. Players that we're not keen on. And my number one is Milos Kerkez, 8.4 million out of Liverpool. I just think the minutes are a risk. I understand he's coming into a better system. But I did the numbers. So there was 5 clean sheets difference between Bournemouth and Liverpool, which equated to, over the course of the season, equated to about 1 point a game. So you can look at that and be like, well, Kirkosh is at least a point underpriced. I just think with Liverpool dominating the ball as much as they do, he's not going to have to get stuck in as much. I think those key dribbles, defenses, aerial wins, like all those sort of stats, tackles, are really going to rack up for a guy like Kirkes that was so pivotal for Bournemouth last year. He now moves into a side where I don't think his offensive output can get much better than what it was. I think it was an absolutely unbelievable season for him last year. He now moves into a better team, yes, but more competition for his spot, less defensive need for him in this side as well. So whilst you're making up points in the clean sheet department, I think you're losing them in other areas. And I think at best he's priced at what he is, and that's at best. I think the downside is so much higher than the downside is so much riskier than the upside.
Yeah, that's fair. Like if you're willing to start a fullback from Liverpool, I think it's more viable to start with Frimpong at 2 mil cheaper. Kirkesh, fantastic player, fantastic talent, was awesome last season for Bournemouth, but now, there's definitely a bit of risk about him. Guy I'm not keen on as well. I spoke about it before. Gabriel Mangalese from Arsenal, 9.4 million for a guy who has been injured the whole preseason just worries me. And it's simple as that. He's 7% owned. He's a stud, awesome player. Arsenal's run to start the season, it's not great. So he's a guy who it's an avoid for now, because I reckon I will pretty comfortably have him at some point this season if need be. But for now, no preseason. They need to get some time into him, and they'll want to have him fit and ready for Europe as well. So just a bit of an avoid for now.
Yeah, they have an unbelievable fixture swing in like game week 7 or 8, I want to say, where their fixtures do get really good. So hopefully he drops $1 million or so and you can pick him up on the cheap. But yeah, with the uncertainty over his fitness for game week 1 as well, I'm keen to avoid. Mate, mine is Murillo from Nottingham Forest, 8.7 million. Now, Forest defended unbelievable for the first 25 weeks of the season last year and then really fell off in the last 3 months or so. And I'm just worried that teams have not found out Nuno's system, but I just don't think it's going to be as prominent. I think he finishes the season probably averaging around 8, which is what he's priced at. But if I'm paying that much, I want Munoz levels of a surety or 8 Nori levels of ceiling. Look, I can't knock him. You're getting to the stage now where there's only probably 5 or 6 premium defenders out there, and you got to take a stand against a couple of them. Murillo, I'd prefer to have him over Kirkesh, but yeah, he's not a guy I'm moving out of the way for to be paying 8.7 million for, and just going to back against Nottingham after potentially an outlier season last year.
Yeah, that's definitely fair. I think there is definitely some guys for Forest that do pique my interest, but at the same time, they're all a bit overpriced because of what they did last season. My last player I'm pretty cold on is Nathan Collins from Brentford, just simply for the fact that they also had a pretty outstanding season under Thomas Frank, to be fair. He's priced at 8.2 million, averaging an average of 8 last season. I think that team, the Brentford team, just got so much worse. And if they lose Johan Visser, it's going to get even worse. And the defense will cop it as well. Yeah, some of the losses that they've had have been pretty big without really getting the replacements for them. So I do think he does drop in a few points due to like clean sheets and whatnot, and doesn't get up this ground for goals and all this sort of stuff anymore. It's sort of the same thing, like you said, for Forest. It was a bit of an outlier season. He's good, but I do think he will drop in price, and you can pick him up a bit cheaper later on if you want him.
Hour 20. We got through it all. There was 20 minutes of around the league and 40 minutes of player analysis. I think midfield, unfortunately, is going to be probably just as long, if not longer. But a very, very quick wrap up, mate. There are so many cheapies that we like. There are 8 to 10 cheapies that we absolutely love. They're all relatively low owned that I think you need to be going out of your way to at least look at least consider them. And if you haven't played, or if this is your first time taking interest into like the English Premier League, like don't look at percentages and don't look at names. Like Yasin Uchen and Kyle Walker combined 45% owned is just ridiculous when you've got a guy like Diouf and Hoiver that are 2% owned combined. Like it just consume some content. Not saying that what me and Deadly are saying is gospel by any means, but just do your research and have a look and don't get falling into the names. I think mid-price defenders is a real dead spot apart from sort of Maxime de Kuyper. Like that's probably the only one, and Mickey Van der Ven that I'm like really keen on. I would love Ian Matson if I knew he was going to start. And the primos, it's sort of like take your pick really. Between sort of maybe 4 or 5 names. So we're really leaning on this podcast towards a cheap defense. Look, that will get a little bit sticky later in the season, no doubt, when we're wanting to primo up, and we'll have to take some funds out elsewhere. But for me, I'm really keen on sort of the guns and cheapy strategy, mate. Deadly, there's so many more preseason friendlies coming up. Like we're going to get an idea of teams' final 11s. Like next episode, we'll touch on some more around the league stuff, mate. But you're looking forward to the midfielders next step?
Yeah, we're getting to the sticky end of it. There's only 11 days until the Prem kicks off. And we've got some midfielders to talk about. A few injuries already happening to some of the more expensive guys. A lot of midfield is definitely going to be the most diverse position. You can go. There's some cheap options, or there's some real top end primos that people will. If you're going with a small defense, you're going top heavy with the midfield. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of content coming from us, obviously follow both of us over on X. If you don't have Twitter, I would recommend getting it. 1, to boost my followers, but 2, follow guys like Fabrizio Romano, David Ornstein, just to get injury news, team news. You can follow all the clubs as well. They post relatively good news, and just chuck notifications on for some important things, especially if you're playing this game. As much as Deadly gives updates for AFL, I give updates for NRL. Like I'm not going to be awake. I'll be awake, but I'm not posting at 3 a.m. about late changes to teams. So definitely get on Twitter. But also because Deadly and I are posting a lot of threads talking about certain players that don't make the podcast. Like, there's so many out there. In terms of what's happening over the next 11 days, we've got midfielders, we've got forwards. We'll probably do a Q&A podcast as well. I know you guys have plenty of questions, and we'll probably do a team reveal as well. So probably 4 more podcasts in that 11-day period. And then moving forward, we're going to try and aim to record every Friday night and have the episode out by Saturday morning. It's only going to be 1 a week. It'll be a recap of the last week and a preview moving forward. It'll probably go for an hour and a half each week. We'll try and condense it into one podcast for you guys. The reception on the first pod, mate, was outstanding. I think we got about 1,000 views, which is about 950 more than I thought we were going to get. So really, really pleased and chuffed with the engagement. And it shows that there is a big market for EPL content in Australia.
Yeah, 100%. There definitely is a lot of guys like their football over here. So, keep up the support. We'll keep giving you the content. Yeah, the one podcast a week. We're doing it for 38 weeks. Cut us some slack if you want us to do it for 2. Couldn't do 2 a week for 38 weeks.
Not a chat. Not for 38 weeks, especially in a league that covers 10 games.
Yes.
And they cover all midweeks. Obviously, we'll be flexible with the structure, but sometimes like there's going to be Wednesday games. Like we'll talk about them, but you need to sort of be on your toes or follow us on social media. But if you did enjoy the podcast, please give it a review, 5 stars. If you're on YouTube, leave a comment. I know I definitely read every comment that gets posted, good or bad, and I'll try and give my 2 cents. But if you've enjoyed 2 blokes chatting about some round ball, give it a like, give it a subscribe, give it a follow. You've been listening to the Talking Tactics podcast. Thank you very much. Have a great one.